Hi guys, the spooky season has finally come around, and to help you get into it, I have prepared 5 games to set you into the right mood for this Halloween. So here we go. If you're a fan of co-op and horror games, you most certainly heard about this one. It's a game for up to 4 players where you and your friends go onto the planet to literally collect some trash, and call your friends trash for dying to a loot bug. The graphics are, well, let's say retro, but as some seasoned gamers know, the worse the graphics the better the horror aspect of the game often works. In this game, I think it's very true, as you never fully understand or see in detail what is pursuing you. You just hear a weird sound, see some white eyes in the darkness, or get spooked by a creepy laughter of a girl who will almost certainly kill you. It's like the developers took stranger danger to a whole new level. You're pushed further in this game by quotas that force you to take bigger risks to collect more trash than you can sell. Your greed makes you go from easy planets with few monsters and traps like Experiment to super dangerous ones like Titan or even Artifice. But that's a secret one, so you didn't hear that one from me. It's a classic case of one man's trash is another man's, death wish. The most interesting part of this game is the communication between the players via in-game chat, which can both help and add to the funny aspect of the game when your friend screams because he thought a shadow was a monster. Resource management also plays a part. You have to decide whether to invest into better equipment or save items to pay off ever-increasing quotas. And let's not forget the variety of items you can find or purchase, from flashlights, which always seem to run out of battery at the worst possible moment, to jetpack that allows you to fly away from danger, potentially if you are not stuck in a cramped room with the monster. I think it's an ideal game to have some spooky fun together with your friends this season, due to its atmosphere, fast and active gameplay, and the fact that the game is still being updated regularly with new monsters, moons, items and such. And if you're ever tired of going for trash exploration, you can always stay in your ship with your friends and have a party. After all, who needs haunted houses, mines or factories when you can just all stay together on the ship and have some fun? Just watch out for those uninvited guests, they have a way of crashing the party. Yeah, you all heard about it, most of you know about it unless you live under the rock, or perhaps under a pyramid-shaped helmet. A reenactment of a legendary game with updated graphics and visuals, remade control scheme, and fighting gameplay, but with most other things staying intact. There's a lot that could be said about this game. Most of it was said long ago when the original came out, but if there was a perfect game that you could play in October, it would be this one. A gripping psychological story of a man who came to the town of Silent Hill to find his wife, got tangled up with other people there, lived through his nightmares and emerged a better person. Or not, depending on the ending. The game itself looks great, the atmosphere is top notch with the town starting off spooky and weird, enveloped in fog, but the scenery gets more and more scary over time as you progress through levels, as well as through the deeper parts of the main hero's psyche. Combat was fully redone in this remake, make it more akin to Resident Evil games or Callisto Protocol. While it makes controls way more responsive and now combat is much more skill-based rather than luck-based, it contradicts the atmosphere a bit by allowing James to dodge out of any attacks like a professional fighter, even though he is supposed to be a regular haunted guy. Who knew grief came with ninja skills? The game has a lot of puzzles, and despite none of them being particularly hard, it will require you to backtrack many times through the same locations to find key number 6231, to open that door that was at the beginning of the level, which has a key for a door at the end of the level, and so on. It's like developers wanted you to get your daily steps in, even in a video game. It is a much better experience than original, where some of the puzzles were nigh unsolvable to some people, especially without guides, but it might still bother some of you who are not used to a more old-schoolish design approach. Sounds and soundtrack of the game are top-notch, and if you're searching for something that will take you right into the mood, that is it. Just if you have an older computer, do dial down the graphics on the lower side, as at the moment when I played it, it had some performance issues, despite me having a 40 series graphics card. Apparently, even Silent Hill wants you to feel the horror of the lag. Another remake on the list. However, if Silent Hill was way overdue for a new game, then Until Dawn actually came out quite recently. At least, for me. Compared to the breadth of redone stuff in Silent Hill 2, Until Dawn made comparatively few improvements. It did add a sprinkle of additional story elements and some character changes, but I will discuss those more in depth in a dedicated video. Despite that, this is one of the best creations of Ballistic Moon, if not the best one, arguably. So Until Dawn Remake is a teenager stuck in the house, cabin, asylum, insert your cliché here type of horror, with several added twists on top. The game itself is more of an interactive movie rather than a game specifically. Most of gameplay happens in choosing what to do or doing QTEs. The thing is that if you fail some of those, the story will go on, but characters might die. It's like being a director who accidentally keeps killing people off during the production. Whoops. The game captures an atmosphere of teenage horror quite nicely, with a cast of characters each with their own quirks, which makes it important to play on those quirks correctly to ensure that all of them survive. Or you can purposely kill them off if you don't like some of them. It's like Survivor Horror the Edition, where you get to decide who gets voted off. If you're looking for the game that mostly plays itself, but with great graphics, a nicely made story, and the atmosphere of teenage American horror, then this is the perfect game for you. Think of it as watching a horror movie where you get to make the worst possible decisions, because where's the fun in playing it safe? While I was fascinated with many theories and lore digging people did into this series, and I watched loads of videos going over this on YouTube, I was never a big fan of the series. For me, the whole gameplay of most FNFs was basic. The story was good only when it's chewed out for you and you can understand it. And the graphics, scares or atmosphere were never anything specifically good in horror genre, especially if you compare it to its competition. Yeah, you can throw rocks or tomatoes or whatever you want at me, but that's what I think about. However, this specific game changed it all for me. While it's not the best game I have ever played for sure, it is done in a very different way from other FNFs. I would say despite it being shorter, less graphically impressive and with much less budget, I felt most horror vibe and atmosphere from this game than from any other. Something about its pixel art, music and themes made me resonate, and perhaps it will for you as well. The game itself is comparatively basic. To avoid spoilers, I will just say that you are tasked to survive 5 days with Yellow Bonnie following you and trying to get you. You're just a kid, so you don't have much in the way of fighting it, and it tries to get you not only in a pizza place, as in others, but also in your own house. Talk about home delivery you definitely didn't order. The gameplay is built on solving simple puzzles, doing some mini games and actively hiding from animatronics that try to capture you. While at it, you will be helping other kids to get out and gathering some of the collectibles, some of which can lead you to different endings. I would say that the whole atmosphere, music, as well as the fact you never feel safe in this game, as the game will punish you for thinking that you are, is the best from horror games that I played this year. It's like playing hide and seek, except the seeker is creepy robot bunny with a penchant for jump scares. And while the story is nowhere near in depth and complexity of Silent Hill or Until Dawn, it still serves well to accentuate the themes this game tries to convey. While this one is not released by Blobber Team, the original creators of Layers of Fear, they released the Silent Hill 2 instead, I would say that this game is much closer to Layers of Fear than Silent Hill would ever be, despite the same creators. In this game you are put in the shoes of father in a family of circus artists, and you're trying to uncover what happened to you and your family by going through surreal environments and solving weird puzzles. It's like attending a family reunion, but with more clowns and existential dread. It's very similar to all the walking simulator horror games, where action changes from just showing you things room to room without much of your interaction, to locking you up somewhere until you're able to solve the puzzle while perhaps a monster is following in your footsteps. Don't get me wrong, the game is well made and deserves to be on this list through the sheer fact that while it's similar to the others in its genre, everything in it fits nicely into the story and atmosphere the authors wanted to convey. Circus and clown themes in many areas of the game are an interesting twist that you don't see often in a horror game. It's more of a gimmick for most rather than a central theme. If you have a fear of clowns, the game just might be your ultimate nightmare. If there is something that I could say about this game, is that it's tasteful, it takes very basic gameplay mechanics and makes it into more or less interesting game with unusual plot and many interesting set pieces. Is it very innovative and a new staple in the genre? Probably not, but it's a great game to play this Halloween, to get your blood pumping from the horror experiences. After all, who doesn't want to solve puzzles while being chased in a haunted circus? So here you are guys, 5 games that makes this spooky season better off for you and set you into the mood. If you're interested in any game in particular from the ones that we discussed, please let me know in the comments, as I was planning to do more in-depth review for each of those. However, this is it for today. Thank you all for watching, leave a like if you enjoyed it, and see you next time.